Hi guys, it's Granny Tanner speaking. The Farming Simulator Signature Edition has been released. This is December 9th, 2025, and this new game has been released for Nintendo Switch 2. And so it's only available on this Switch 2 console. And this game is more or less very similar to FS25. So it's nothing really separated. It has some limitations, but only very few. So we don't have mods. Maybe we will have mods in the future, but maybe not, so they check whether it's possible. I would say rather not, so I wouldn't expect mods for this game. It would be a nice surprise. And it's a single player game, so you are alone on your map and only the NPCs and the helpers are there for you. And other than that, I haven't found any differences to FS25. And for me, the biggest difference is that I play on console with a controller. I'm not used to this. That makes a huge difference for me, but not for other console players. So for them, this will be more or less the same, I guess. And it's running smoothly. I'm playing it already for some days now. And in my experience, it's smoothly and the graphics are okay. I think they fit to the size of this console. You have to consider that the Switch 2 console is much more powerful than the old Switch, but it's less powerful than the PS5 and Xbox X whatsoever, and therefore the graphics can't be like the best, most expensive gaming PC, not even like the new modern consoles, but it's a little bit more limited. But considering this, I really like how they managed to bring good graphics into the game, and I'm quite happy with it. Here you can see me on Riverbend Springs doing the harvest, and here we are on a different field. I zoom out a little bit that we can get an overview, and it just looks like Riverbend Springs on my PC version of FS25. And now let's jump to this tractor, and here we can have a look at the farm. And we have 3 maps. One is this Riverbend Springs, and it's an American map in the Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas area with a huge river and small or medium-sized fields and little mountains, and it's a very cozy map, so you wouldn't expect such coziness from an American map, but it is. It's a map where I nearly played a full year in FS25, and I started playing again on it now on the Signature Edition, because I really like it here. And then we have Hutam Pantai. This is an East Asian map, and I guess they brought this East Asian map into the game to celebrate the rice that we can grow. So we can grow rice. There are 2 different types of rice. One is with Asian way and with traditional very small machinery, and the other one is long grain rice where we use huge Western machinery. And we can grow both types of rice on all the maps. And this Hutan Pantai starts with a very small farm, but it has huge fields and a very open area in the center of the map with a big farm that you can use and expand, because in the neighborhood it's rather flat. So if you want to have a huge big farm, then go to Hutan Pantai and buy the central farm. Then you can be very happy with your huge farm. And in Hutan Pantai we also have a traditional Asian village, and we have a typical modern town with grey buildings but with a lot of lightings and so, and they got the feeling of East Asian areas very good, I think. And then we have Sri Lanka, which is Central European, located in the Poland area. And yeah, it has rather old-fashioned small buildings and those very narrow fields. Not all of the fields are very narrow, but several of them to make it very typical. And they have a nice church and a park. So it looks nice, and in other areas it looks not so nice but very typical, and therefore it's a nice European map. And yeah, then we have more than 400 machines. Here we are in the shop, and those are all the categories. So inside each category we find a lot, or at least several vehicles or machines, appliances and whatsoever. That starts with the small tractors until the large tractors and combine harvesters, cars, trailers, and everything you need for your farming experience. And those machines are built like the real life machines. Giants get the information, the data from the manufacturers, and therefore they can build them very realistically, the vehicles and trailers and such. And yeah, you can spend a fortune for machines, and therefore it's good if you earn a lot of money. And it's very interesting to use all those different machines, so it, in a way, it never gets boring. You can play years on this farming simulator without it ever gets boring, in my opinion. If you are more for racing and fast and shooting, then maybe it's too peaceful for you. But I love this peacefulness, and you can do such a lot of things, different things here. So now let's jump out of this tractor and go to the cows, because I want to tell you about the animals. We have more animals than ever before, and the most important thing is we have young animals in the game. So before, even in FS23, which is the latest mobile version, which also runs on the Switch, the animals always looked adult. And now we have baby animals and kids animals. And here you can just see the very, very tiny little cow that is newborn and can hardly stand. And then at the right side you see a 6-month-old calf, and it can roam around and jump and be happy. And it's such a joy to see those small animals growing up. And we even have new animal types, but for all the newcomers in the farming simulator world, I tell you about all the animals that are available. Those are the cows, and we have chicken, sheep, pigs, and horses. And then new animals are goats and water buffaloes. And then we also have a dog. It doesn't have any serious farming purpose, this dog, but it's very nice to have a dog. And we have bees, and yeah, they bring honey and they hum and like bees do, but they are very small, like bees are. Yeah, that's about the animals. And I already told you that we got rice in the game, and also new crops are spinach, beans, and peas, and they are new in FS25. And maybe we just have a look at the map, and here we can see all the crop types from wheat, barley, canola, which are the classic crop types. And here then we have the rice, which is the Asian version, and the long grain rice, and things that came new in FS25 and so, 22 I mean, like sorghum and carrots and such, and new in FS25. And here are green beans, peas, and spinach. Yeah, so we have a big variety of different crops, and some can be grown in a similar way with the same machinery, and for others you need special machinery, which makes it very interesting. And then, if you don't just want to sell the crops directly from the field, you can buy a production and produce things like bread and cheese and so. Let's have another look at the menu and then the productions. It starts with a bakery or a biogas plant and a carpentry if you cut wood, and we even have a cooper for barrels and oil mill for canola oil and things like that. So there are a lot of different production buildings, and you can buy them on the map as a factory that is already built there. And then you bring your stuff, produce products, and get more money. Or if you have a big farm, you can even place all those buildings on your farm. We have a full build mode, like in FS25, so we can change the look of this farm more or less completely. I say more or less because even in FS25 we can't remove the farmhouse in Riverbend Springs, and there is another decorative building that we can't remove, but that is not a special thing for this signature edition, but also effect in FS25. But other than that, you can cut down all the trees, you can sell the cows and remove the pasture, you can transform those fields into areas for your productions or your animal barns, whatever you want. That is what I like to do. I use those small flat fields for animal barns. Then I have big pastures and the animals are very happy. Yeah, so I would say we have the nearly full FS25 experience on a rather small console. And yeah, I'm happy playing on this. And if you are completely into multiplayer, then there is something missing for you. Or if you only like to play with a whole bunch of mods, then something is missing. But if you love this farming experience, or maybe you are just new to Farming Simulator, then I would say this is a perfect start, because it's a little bit limited compared to FS25, but it's still a huge experience where you can play for years if you so wish. Okay, that's a first overview of the Farming Simulator Signature Edition, and I will make a lot of videos about this, first and foremost tutorials, and I already started a series about the first steps, and then I will make a lot of tutorials for diving deeper in all the topics that are so interesting. Okay, I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.